I mean, why travel across space by changing consciousness when you can ride in a rocket ship? Come on, you know? The type 3 believing process is a maturation of the type 1 believing process, and type 2 falls somewhere in between. So you have here the evolution of the believing process. You have a linear evolution of child, adolescent, adult, and you might think, that's it, you know? Superstition evolving into the scientific method. Where else can you go? Have you ever noticed that when a process is close to reaching perfection, that there's often a sideways step that opens a whole new vista? We don't just evolve linearly. Sometimes we mutate sideways. When the electronic vacuum tube had evolved to near perfection, there was a sideways step into the transistor. And when propeller-driven aircraft had almost reached perfection, there was a sideways step into jet propulsion. And when reptilian scales had thickened and reached their maximum insulation value, there was a sideways step into feathers. And feathers, which were developed as a protection against the cold, took a sideways step into flight. Well, avatar is a sideways step into a type 4 belief system. And the intention in a type 4 belief system is create deliberately. And the sideways step is what makes avatar different from other practices. I mean, many people, positive thinkers, inspirational speakers, have speculated that you could create an experience simply by believing in it. In fact, many contend that's what people are really doing all the time. And the crux of a type 4 belief system is that the process of believing comes before the process of experiencing. See, type 1, 2, and 3 belief systems look at the past experience to determine present believing. Now we're talking about a paradigm in which present time believing determines future experience. This really reshuffles the deck. And the whole concept of believing in something because you're comfortable with it just goes out the window, because you cannot be comfortable with something that you haven't created yet. I mean, the definition of belief in type 4 belief system is closer to create forward rather than to be comfortable with. I mean, the whole believing process has changed. Section 2 of Avatar is a demonstration that belief can create experience. It's quite revolutionary. The believing process has taken a sideways step from passive observation and deduction about what already existed in the past into an invitation to create what you would like to experience in the future. And when you learn to do this, not just talk about it, the skill is priceless. You learn how to create a belief with enough certainty that the experience actually arrives. Wow. Well, okay, this avatar walks into a bar. And he says, things always work out for me. And the type 3 scientist, taking out his power measuring device, which also samples and weighs, says, do you have any evidence to believe that things always work out for you? And the avatar says, nope, things just always work out for me. And the type 2 rationalist, he's carrying a whole list of secondaries, says, do you have any reason to believe that things are going to work out for you? And the avatar says, nope, things just always work out for me. And both the type 2 and the type 3 get very agitated. That's crazy, they say. Totally delusional, unproven, unsupported, no confirmation, unjustified. You have no evidence or reason to believe that. And the avatar says, not yet. You see, the avatar has realized that basing her beliefs on the past is like driving a car by watching where you've been. With the type 4 believing process, we're talking about awakening source beings who, within a very broad parameter, can make primaries that restructure their own minds and create future reality, future experiences. Now, that's a concept that may take getting used to, a source being who can restructure his or her own mind. Is your mind controlling you, or are you controlling it? And if you're entirely new to this concept, the first question you need to answer is, who does my mind belong to? And the next question is, who decides what I believe? Do the past events of the physical universe control my mind, or do I control my mind? My mother, bless her heart, could sometimes be an impatient woman. Was your mother ever impatient with you? My mom would say, as I hovered in the doorway with snow blowing into the kitchen, either go out or stay in. This, of course, presented me with a problem. Should I go out or should I stay in? And finally, as I stood there with the door open, snow blowing past, my mother would give her final direction. Make up your mind or I'll make it up for you. Make up your mind or I'll make it up for you. That is pretty much what the Universal Mother is saying to all of us. Make up your mind or I'll make it up for you. So who's making up your mind? Are you living deliberately, making up your own mind? How much avoidable suffering can you save yourself from in the future by restructuring your own mind today? I mean, when people really understand the consequences of what you're doing here, I mean, they're going to drop everything to do Avatar. Millions of people are trapped in comfortable beliefs. And these comfortable beliefs will continue to self-sabotage their lives, their jobs, their health, their relationships. And they're blaming events that they believe they can do nothing about. This is all called victim consciousness. So discovering that most difficulties are the result of your own comforting beliefs and that you can do something about them is a huge step. I mean, it's a discovery that requires effort and courage to confront. But you can't become a basketball star by reading about basketball. And you can't become an avatar by reading about Avatar. You have to do the training. And I was going to say, and boy, is it worth it. But since you guys now have firsthand experience, let me ask you, is doing Avatar worth it? Thank you. Thank you.
Explore and understand the relationship between your beliefs and your experiences. Discover more about orders of belief systems with the Belief Management Mini-Course. Ask an Avatar Master or visit avatarepc.com.